We're back after being sick. This stupid virus is finally gone. So we're back in SERDNA Talks, and today we're going to talk about Tcpa, or to be more specific, we're going to talk about the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, and cold calling. Let's start this video by answering some of the most frequently asked questions. What exactly is the Tcpa? Well, the Telephone Consumer Protection Act of 1991, or Tcpa, protects consumers from unwanted telemarketing calls, pre-recorded or auto-dial calls, fax transmissions, and text messages. What are the penalties for violating the Tcpa, or Telephone Consumer Protection Act? Violations of this statute can lead to significant fines from $500 per communication. So, if you are a consumer, check the Do Not Call registry. Consumers who do not want to receive telemarketing calls can register their numbers on the National Do Not Call registry. If you are an investor and if you're thinking about increasing your real estate portfolio by placing thousands and thousands of calls, then be careful. This could be the end of cold calling. Well, maybe not. But what I don't want you to do is to ignore the rules of the game, because, as you already know, we are being sued for making one call and leaving one voice message. We are being sued, allegedly, because we were violating the Tcpa Act, which was signed in 1991 by ex-President George Bush. So if you're thinking about investing in real estate, you are on the right channel, because we will explain to you everything you need to know about finances, how to grow your wealth, and real estate. In SERDNA Talks, we love to show people how to invest in real estate so that they can quit their 9-to-5 jobs, because those are boring. The real estate industry is what it is thanks to the use of the telephone, but cold calling is very risky nowadays. Even if you are a real estate investor and if you are not offering any services, you may get in trouble. You may. And all this because of the Tcpa and the Do Not Call registry. If you haven't seen our previous video, then the Tcpa wants you to stop pre-recorded voice messages. They don't want you to use an auto dialer. They don't want you to use artificial intelligence. They don't want you to use so many things. And please do not call anybody before 8 in the morning or after 9 p.m. And to be safe, only call from 8 to 8, and do not use robocalls. Most sales reps cold call all the time, from car dealerships to cable companies. Cold calling might be very effective, but that doesn't mean that you should do it. Some of the biggest real estate brokers in the US have been in court for violating the Tcpa guidelines, and most of the realtors make unsolicited calls to property owners. One of the rules of the Tcpa is that you must identify yourself, and if you are on a phone call and if you are identifying yourself and sharing your personal information or your business information, then that person on the other line could be just taking note, and then they will sue you for violating the Tcpa. For some real estate investors, fines are just part of doing business. That's just the cost of doing business. The law prohibits companies from using auto dialers to make calls to people. Keep in mind that a number of consumer lawsuits filed against the Tcpa violators are filed in state courts, even though the Tcpa is a federal law. And that's really, really bad. So if you're a realtor, remember the following. Do not call someone else's house before 8 in the morning or after 9 p.m. Do not make more than 3 calls in less than 3 hours to the same number. And you should always introduce yourself and provide a contact method such as email, phone numbers, etc., so that the client can reach you. And do not use artificial voice or a robocall. And if I were you, I will never, ever leave another voicemail unless just don't leave it. You need to observe federal and state call times. Before I continue, remember that I'm not an attorney and I will never be one, but because of the lawsuit that we're facing right now, we have been forced to learn about this subject because this is the first and the last time that we're going to get sued. Keep in mind that these rules vary from state to state. One thing that every single realtor should know is that if you are cold calling, please make sure that the telephone does not ring more than 15 seconds or that it doesn't ring more than 4 times. So if you're a real estate investor and if you have a database or a list of properties that you're considering to add to your real estate portfolio, and if your goal is to acquire those properties, then if you want to avoid getting sued for making one call and for leaving one message, all your marketing material should be focused on receiving calls, nothing else. All you want is incoming calls and not the other way around. And one of the benefits of that is that there is a high probability that when the phone rings, it's because that person is really interested and would like to talk to you about their real estate needs. And most realtors are in the business because they feel that they need to sell in order to survive. We, on the other hand, we believe that we are in the real estate industry to help people with their real estate needs, regardless of the outcome. We tell people not to buy, not to sell, if we think that's not beneficial to them. But the biggest brokers in the nation push their realtors and set high goals because they think that's how things work. We don't pressure people. We provide information. We guide them so that they can make an educated decision. Let me tell you what I think should be considered best practices. You should limit the number of repeat calls. Just remember that we're being sued for making one call and for leaving one message. And a consumer who receives multiple calls might have a case and they might sue you. So avoid making multiple calls or leaving multiple pre-recorded messages on the same day. You should limit the amount of calls that you place to the same number. And remember not to call people before 8 in the morning or after 9 p.m. Just to be safe, just call from 8 to 8. And if you have questions, remember to subscribe to SERDNA Talks and to share all my videos with your friends and family. I have to go. See you soon. Ciao.